And I think we're on. Hey, so I got over to my receiver a little bit early, about an hour and a half early, which is, allowable. Their offices are completely closed down. It's just a small little warehouse. It's just some docks, basically, not much. The office says no one's coming in. We're shut down. So I thought, oh great, we're closed. But there's all these trucks out in their lot. So I'm like, crap. So I go over and I do find a dock receiving door. So I go in there. The warehouse is completely dark. The door was open, but everything's dark in there. And one guy comes over and he's on his phone. And I go, I'm supposed to check in here, or what's going on? He goes, no, check in here. He goes, when's your appointment? I'm like, well, it's supposed to be noon. He goes, well, you saw the trucks out there, right? Yeah. He goes, I have 3 scheduled at 10 o'clock. And it was 10:30 at that point. So I'm like, oh, gotcha. There were about 7 trucks here when I got here. So one was in a dock and the rest were just sitting here. So he says, give me your paperwork. Go over there and sit with the rest of them, and when we're ready, we'll come get you. And I said, all right, you got any ideas of what or when? He goes, it's definitely going to be closer to 12, and it might even be after, because we still got to get a lunch in here, and there's only 2 of us. And sure enough, out in that parking lot, there are 2 cars. So, hey, Jim, Caitlin, Cindy, Jackie. Hi, guys. So, are you going stir crazy yet? Staying home? Are you finding things to do? Keeping yourself busy? I'm personally kind of bored right now, just sitting here, but I'm not at home. I did see something cool, and I promise you, I really did try to get you all a picture, but yeah, I'm sorry for that glare. I don't know what to tell you. That's just the sun coming in the window, and I'm not going to apologize for sunshine. Out here, let me turn you around, I'll show you. Out here in this little field right here, just on the outskirts of this property here, over there by those stacks of wood, I saw a puma cat. Yes, I saw a puma cat. I've never seen a puma cat outside of the zoo before. So that was really cool. I tried to zone in on it with the camera, but because of the shadows that wood was producing, I couldn't focus in on the cat. I looked at it at first and I thought, man, that's a big cat. And then I looked at it again. I thought, wait a second, is that a cat? What is? It was a puma. It was a puma. So I'm right on the border of Indiana and Kentucky, a town called Scottsburg. Scotts something. Let me see. Scottsburg, Indiana. So, hey Lisa, how you doing? So that was really cool. So yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen a puma, not, outside of the zoo. So that was kind of cool. Oh, Lisa, I was just telling them that I'm in Scottsburg, Indiana, right on the border of Kentucky and Indiana, basically right along the 65. And then I'm heading south on the 65 into Indiana some more and picking up something and dragging it to Florida. So, but first I have to get pumas and cougars are the same thing. I didn't know that. Are they really? I don't know. For some reason I always thought a puma was smaller than a cougar. Is it actually the same thing though, huh? That's cool. I mean, they were cats. I wasn't sure when I first saw if it was a cat, and when it disappeared behind the pile of gravel, when it came back out, I could tell by the way it was walking and that it was a cat. You know how a cat has that certain stride to it, and I was like, that's definitely a big cat. Or in this case, medium to large cat, however you want to look at it. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Oh, did you really? Yeah, Lisa, you've done a lot of work with the rehabs on different animals. You've gotten some really cool opportunities doing what you did. So I'm highly allergic to cats, so I didn't go out chasing off after it. Not that it would have allowed me to do that anyway, but it was just cool to see, and it was fairly up close. So neat opportunity. Also this morning, I got to help out a fellow night driver. I was getting ready this morning, and I got a knock on my door, and it was, well lit in the morning already. It was like 9:30 or something. And he says, "Hey, I'm a night driver. My truck's right behind you. Do you by any chance, can you come try to open my truck?" And I said, "Oh, did you lock yourself out?" And I said, "Do you have an international?" "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, I can try. Let's see if the key works." So went over there, and unfortunately the key did not work. I said, I can do you one better. I said, I just had this happen to me last week. So talk me through how to break into my own truck using my antenna. So we went over to his truck. He doesn't have an antenna. He's got a 2020 International LT, but he has some special stinking edition of it that's got a special Cummins engine, so he didn't have an antenna. So we came back to my truck, broke off my antenna, or not broke it off, but twisted it off, and then we broke into his truck. I showed him what he had to do. I threaded through what he needed to thread through, and then I let him actually do it. You should have seen the smile on this kid's face. He was a baby. He couldn't have been more than 30. I mean, seriously, he was probably 25. I stink at guessing ages, but I bet you he couldn't have been all that he couldn't have been all that old. But yeah, as soon as he got that button pushed and it clicked, he just got the biggest smile on his face and looked at me like, "Oh, that was easy." He's like, "I was gonna go buy a lockout kit and do all this stuff and whatever, blah blah blah." I go, "If you find yourself a really strong hanger, maybe just tuck it up inside your battery compartment or somewhere on your truck." I said it will rust out, but keep an eye on it, and if you might be able to stash something somewhere in your truck that you can make it work. He's like, "That's great." And I said, "Well, I was given the information. It helped me out. I'm just passing it on." So he was trying to give me, he had some OS&D, which is overages, shortages, and damages. And he had some Snickers on his truck. He's trying to give me, and he had Kind bars. He's like, I want to offer you something. You have no idea how much this means to me." I go, "Yeah, I do. Literally, this just happened to me a week ago. I do know how much it means." And I'm like, I'm just glad I could help and pass it on. So, yeah, so that made me feel real good this morning. And it was warm here. It wasn't rainy. It wasn't crappy, so it wasn't a pain to be out there. So, and that smile on his face was just, it was like one of my kids, like, "Oh my God, that's great." All right. So anyway, enough of that. So yeah, so far a pretty cool morning. Yeah, Caitlin, I try to help out where I can. I'm just starting out on this. I haven't even been doing it really for a year. I'm getting more help than I've been giving, but as I do more and more, I've been able to offer my services a bit more. I was unbelievably grateful when people would help me, and they would never take anything for it. I'd offer them bottles of water, I'd offer them candy, I'd offer them, whatever. Sometimes I'd just be like, "I got nothing to give you. Can I give you a hug?" And sometimes they'd be like, "Sure." Then other times like, "No, I'm good." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." But yeah, I was always very grateful. I called them my parking lot angels. Hi, Pearl. How are you, hon? So yeah, so my parking lot angels. So I'm happy to give back. You know me. I believe in karma. I believe in karma. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So, oh goody, 2 more trucks just pulled in. This ought to be fun. This ought to be fun. Really, folks? I was just trying to figure out how the heck I'm going to get back over in their docks now that all these trucks are blocking my way back in, but I'm looking over here. Hey, let's go for a walk. Y'all want to go for a walk with me? Let's go for a walk. I think I'm looking at this spot over here. Let's go see how deep this puddle is. I might just have to pull through this side yard, go back out on the road, come back around, because I really don't want to have to, otherwise my option is I have to angle myself back over there and then try to back in. But it looks like I've got options here. Let's go take a look-see. So yeah, right here was where I saw that puma. She was right under there under those, she walked along the edge and then ducked herself underneath that wood there. Yeah, I don't know. That just looks like it goes nowhere. I think it just goes back here to a lot. This is very deep. Yeah, it's deep enough. I stayed off to one side, I'd probably be okay. If I stayed to this far side, that initial hole right there is deep and it's shallow right there. That's their parking lot and dock. I don't think I want to go through that hole. I would probably come back here. See this, all this old wood back here? It looks like telephone poles. Utility poles? They're all tarred and everything. I'm assuming that's what they are. Just a whole bunch of utility poles. So, actually, is that what they do? Is they sell utility poles? Because look, there's all these weird utilities, but then they don't go anywhere. They just kind of stop. Like maybe they're samples. I guess, you know, you sell, no matter what you sell, you gotta, everything has to be sold. I guess you sell utility poles. That's what these are. They're just different examples of different types of telephone poles. I mean, I guess that is a business. You got to get them from somewhere. Because these wires don't go anywhere. They just are connected to each other. They're not actually going anywhere. They're just samples. Oh, that's funny. But, yeah, you know what? I could come around here if I had to. And there's plenty of room for me to come around here. Come back out. Well, that still doesn't do me really any good. Because I'd still have to come through unless I went out their driveway. I thought that would come out on the other side. It doesn't. It's just a turnaround. I need to have my driver's side on the side of where I'm docking. Otherwise, it's considered a blind side, and that's a pain in the butt. It's really hard. I'm not comfortable doing it because, like it says, blind side. You can't see what's happening on that side of your trailer. And when you don't have anything in the way, you can kind of screw around with stuff like that. But when you got stuff in the way, you don't really want to screw with stuff like that. So, this wood smells kind of good though. It's got a nice, what is it, pine? Are they made out of pine? Is that what the majority of telephone poles are? Are they pine trees? I don't know. I can't tell what the smell is. It doesn't smell like cat, which is good. See how the truck's waiting? Yeah, everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting. So, like I said, I don't know. A couple of them are waiting longer than me, but I don't know what all their appointments are. He said 3 of them were 10 o'clock. And there's a day cab over there, and there's one guy that was next to me that just got over there. So, I don't know. I'm going to do a solid, though, and pick up this wood that someone probably shoved out of their cab when they were... That's heavy. Shit. I wasn't expecting it to be that heavy. Probably cleaned out their bed and swap it out into the ground. Not something you want to be running over. There's no nails or anything in it, but still, it's not something you really want to be running over. Can you hear the red-winged blackbird in the background? Is my speaker good enough to pick it up? I don't know. So, and I can't even, they don't want me to break the seal or open the doors or anything yet. When he comes out to get me, he said he'll do that. I said, fair enough. Well, I guess I could shut my blinkers off now. I don't really need them to be sitting here still, do I? Probably not. And then I have to remember when I pick up the next load, I got to make sure my trailer's set because I'm going down into Florida. And they have a very strict 41-foot law. We have to keep our tandems, our rear tandems have to be a certain spot. They don't want them too far back. So, hey Karen, how are you? Jeff, how are you? Oh yeah, Lisa, that's what they were saying. My friend is over toward Jersey, the border of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. She said she just came through the mountains and it was snowing / raining / icing / sleeting, whatever. Which is funny because, you know, just yesterday you saw me. I came through there and it was flipping gorgeous. So it just goes to show you how fast it can change. I am looking forward, however, to oh, have a great day, hon. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Hi, Ken. How are you? Ken and Jeff, Karen. I am sitting in Indiana. I'm right on the border of Indiana and Kentucky. Basically right off the 65. If you all can see that traffic off to the right-hand side there, can you see traffic going through those trees? That's the 65. I'm just sitting in a little dinky warehouse waiting to get my product unloaded. Unfortunately, I got here early and they were not able to take me early because they had 3 people in line for a 10 o'clock appointment at 10:30 and they still hadn't dealt with them. There's only 2 guys running tow motors in this place. There's no office people, there's nobody else. It's almost like a Sunday afternoon kind of deal, but it's Monday, so their offices don't have anybody in them because of the virus, and so they just have their 2 dock workers. So my favorite game in trucking is the hurry up and wait game, so that's what we're doing. Now I'm kind of wishing I would have called this at the yard yesterday like they said I could have on Friday, but I'm like, no, I'll just run it down in there and go from there. That's fine. You got me going in Indiana, pick up something next anyway. It'll put me closer. Let's just do that. Hi, Pam. How are you? I was just saying I'm in Indiana, on the border of Indiana and Kentucky. I've had my breakfast. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm just sitting here waiting in my long line of trucks to be loaded and or unloaded as they sit. It's going to be a while. But anywho, so the facility next to us over here the facility next to us over here is a they sell telephone poles. They sell poles, utility poles. They've got a little sample thing set up in the back, and by little I mean they're full-size utility poles sitting in their backyard, and they have different apparatuses held up to them to show you like how you can use them and you know what they do or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I never thought about it. I'm like, someone's got to sell telephone poles. I mean, it's something that's out there. It's, for some reason, I think I just assumed that the utility companies just did that. I didn't actually think, well, the utility companies have to get them from somewhere. I just thought, well, they probably just have their own, right? They have their own business and they just do their own thing. But apparently that's not the case. There's actually places that sell telephone poles. Utility poles, I should say. And then this morning I saw a puma, or mountain lion as somebody said it was also called, or a cougar. Apparently they're all the same thing, so I learned something today. I didn't know all that. I'm highly allergic to cats, so I've never really gotten too much into knowing too much about them, but I could tell by the way this thing was walking that it was definitely a cat, and by the size of it and the color. The first thing I thought of were the pumas at the zoo, and so that's what I called it. I called it a puma. Turns out they're all the same stinking thing, but okay. So that's good to know. Let you all tell me what they are, and then I can just, that way I won't feel like I'm misinforming anybody. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should take a nap, but I slept way slept in this morning and just laid in my bed because I just stayed in my bunk this morning because I didn't have to leave out until after 10. So, I mean, I had all kinds of time on my hands. I drove all day yesterday. I don't think I ever took a picture of my mileage yesterday, but I did end up doing 537 miles yesterday. So, I did okay. Now, my problem currently is that my 70-hour clock is only got 11 hours left on it. So I am currently in off duty to keep that clock from dwindling itself down. But if they don't screw my other clocks too bad with that time left between this, but I have another, my next thing I go to is supposed to be a live load as well. Given that, I may I may make it to Georgia, like literally just inside of Georgia. I'll go from the 65 to the 24, and then from where the 24 and the 75 meet, I may just make it into that area to shut down. And when I do, it's going to be a 34-hour reset. So it'll be the rest of today and all day tomorrow. I'll be shut down, and then I'll start off again. What did I say? Monday, Tuesday. I'll start off again Wednesday. And then I'll haul this down to Florida. Georgia through Florida. I'll be good for that day. And then turn around Thursday and come back with something else. And then I'll probably be heading home for a couple days. I need to restock and do my laundry. I could do my laundry on the road, and we have a terminal down where I'm delivering this, and I could do my laundry there, but I think I'd rather do it at home where I know I can use hot water, and I know it's my wash machine, and I'm, I don't know. I suppose if I'm using hot water and soap and stuff, it should be okay, and it shouldn't be an issue for me, but I'd rather not use somebody else's washing machine or a shared washing machine. Anyway, that's probably being overly cautious, but I tend not to use other people's washing machines just because, or public ones, because they have animals, cats and dogs, and their hair gets stuck up in there, and I have had allergic reactions from getting cat hair and stuff stuck into my clothing. I've broken out, or sometimes they have certain soaps or detergents that are fairly strong. So whatever. But, alright, I'm going to let you all go. I got a phone call coming through. As always, I love you, I appreciate you, and thanks for keeping me company. And I'll give you one last look at a nice blue sky. Oh, there's a nice truck. What do you think of that? Black and red. Classic colors, huh? Alright, y'all. Have a great day. Love you. Be safe. Be healthy.